The offices of Sterling Tech Solutions usually emptied by 6 in the evening, but Margaret Sterling often stayed late, long after her employees had gone home to their families. At 43, she'd built her cybersecurity company from nothing, turning it into one of the most trusted names in corporate data protection. Tonight was no different. She'd been working on a particularly complex encryption algorithm, one that would secure her company's biggest client contract yet. The mathematical puzzle lay spread across her desk, pages of numbers and symbols that represented weeks of careful development. Margaret rubbed her tired eyes and decided to take a break. As she walked toward the break room, she noticed a light still on in the custodial area. That was unusual. Roberto Mendoza, their night janitor, typically finished his rounds by 7. She found Roberto in the supply closet, carefully organizing cleaning materials with the same methodical attention he brought to everything else. He'd worked for Sterling Tech for 3 years, and Margaret had always appreciated his quiet reliability, though they'd rarely spoken beyond polite greetings. "Working late tonight, Roberto?" she asked gently. He looked up, slightly startled. "Miss Sterling?" "Yes, my daughter Sophia. She had to come with me tonight. Her babysitter got sick. I hope that's okay." "Of course," Margaret replied. She'd been a working single mother herself for 10 years after her divorce. "Where is she?" Roberto's weathered face brightened with the pride only a parent could show. "In the conference room. She brought her homework. She's very good about not disturbing anyone." Curiosity led Margaret down the hall to the glass-walled conference room. What she saw there made her stop in her tracks. A girl who couldn't have been more than 12 sat at the large oak table, completely absorbed in something spread before her. But it wasn't homework. It was Margaret's encryption code, the papers she'd left scattered on her desk earlier. Margaret's first instinct was alarm. This was proprietary information, corporate secrets worth millions. But as she watched more carefully, she realized something extraordinary was happening. The girl, Sophia, wasn't just looking at the papers, she was working on them. Her small hand moved across a notebook, writing equations with the confident strokes of someone who understood what she was doing. Margaret entered the room quietly. "Hello there. You must be Sophia." Sophia looked up with bright, intelligent eyes that reminded Margaret of herself at that age. Curious, unafraid, hungry for knowledge. "Hi, Miss Sterling," Sophia said politely. "I'm sorry if I wasn't supposed to look at these papers. They looked like puzzles, and I love puzzles." "What kind of puzzles do you usually work on?" Margaret asked, sitting down across from the girl. "Math puzzles, mostly. Logic problems. Papa says I think differently than other kids." Sophia's voice carried a hint of self-consciousness. "Sometimes at school the other kids think I'm weird because I like numbers more than what girls are supposed to like." Margaret's heart ached with recognition. She remembered being that girl, the one who preferred calculus to cheerleading, who found beauty in equations while her classmates were obsessed with fashion magazines. "Sophia," Margaret said gently, "can you tell me what you think these papers are about?" Sophia's eyes lit up. "It's a code, isn't it? But not just any code. It's like a special lock that changes its combination every time someone tries to open it. The numbers here." She pointed to a complex sequence. "They're creating a pattern that loops back on itself, but with variations that make it almost impossible to predict." Margaret felt her breath catch. This 12-year-old girl had just described, in perfect lay terms, the revolutionary self-modifying encryption algorithm that Margaret's team of PhD mathematicians had been working on for months. "How did you figure that out?" Margaret asked, trying to keep her voice calm. Sophia shrugged, the way brilliant children do when they don't realize their brilliance is unusual. "The pattern reminded me of the Fibonacci sequence, but twisted. Like if numbers could dance with each other instead of just following in a straight line." For the next hour, Margaret found herself in the most intellectually stimulating conversation she'd had in years. Sophia asked questions that cut straight to the heart of complex problems. She suggested modifications that Margaret's expensive consultants hadn't thought of. More importantly, she approached each challenge with pure joy, the delight of a mind that had found its perfect playground. "Sophia," Margaret said finally, "what do you want to be when you grow up?" The girl's face clouded slightly. "Papa says I should be practical. Maybe a secretary or a teacher? Something stable. He works so hard to take care of us. I don't want to worry him with impossible dreams." "What would you study if dreams weren't impossible?" "Mathematics, computer science. I want to solve puzzles that help people. Like creating codes that keep their secrets safe, or algorithms that help doctors find cures for diseases." Sophia's voice grew stronger with each word. "I want to build things with numbers the way other people build things, with their hands." Margaret felt something shift inside her chest, a recognition that went deeper than impressed surprise. She saw herself in this girl, but also saw the path she might have taken if someone hadn't believed in her potential when she was young. Roberto appeared in the doorway, looking worried. "Sophia, mija, I told you not to bother Ms. Sterling." "She wasn't bothering me," Margaret said quickly. "Roberto, could I speak with you for a moment?" They stepped into the hallway, leaving Sophia to pack up her notebook. "Your daughter is remarkable," Margaret began. "Roberto, she solved in one evening what my team has been struggling with for weeks." Roberto's expression was a mixture of pride and concern. "She's always been smart with numbers, but Ms. Sterling, we can't afford— she goes to public school and college. It's not something we can—" "What if it could be?" Margaret interrupted gently. "Roberto, I'd like to offer Sophia a scholarship. Full ride to any university she chooses, with internships here at Sterling Tech during summers. But more than that, I'd like her to work with our development team now, part-time, as a junior consultant." Roberto's eyes widened. "Ms. Sterling, you don't understand. I clean offices. Sophia and we're not—" "You're brilliant people who deserve every opportunity," Margaret said firmly. "Roberto, your daughter has a gift that comes along once in a generation, and you've raised her to be kind, curious, and grounded. That combination is worth more than any degree I could buy." 6 months later, Sophia Mendoza became the youngest consultant in Sterling Tech's history. The encryption algorithm she'd helped perfect won the company its biggest contract ever. But more importantly, Sophia bloomed in an environment that celebrated her unique mind. She still came to the office with her father some evenings, but now she had her own small desk in the research department, covered with the advanced puzzles that challenged her growing abilities. "You know what I learned from Sophia?" Margaret told her board of directors at their next meeting. "Sometimes the most revolutionary solutions come from the most unexpected places. We hired the best minds money could buy, but we almost missed the brilliant mind that was cleaning up after them every night." Roberto was promoted to head of facilities management, with a salary that reflected both his dedication and his daughter's contributions to the company. But the change that mattered most was simpler than money or titles. Sophia no longer worried about being weird for loving numbers. She'd found her place in the world, solving puzzles that mattered, surrounded by people who saw her gift as the treasure it truly was. And Margaret? She rediscovered the pure joy of mathematics through the eyes of a 12-year-old girl who saw equations as poetry and algorithms as art. Sometimes the most valuable thing a successful person can do is remember to look around and notice the potential that's been hiding in plain sight all along.